Good morning guys, welcome back to my garden. Today we've got a lot of stuff to do. I want to try and finish up the veggie patch and get it ready for spring so that I can just step back and do some of the other things I've got to do. So we've got potatoes that are going to get harvested whether they're ready or not today because I have seedlings that are ready to go into that position. I want to put up some arches that I have in the garage to create climbing structures for some beans and some cucumbers. So I've got two of those and I've got to work out where they're going to go without casting too much shade. All of my containers need to be fixed up for spring and summer. They're all looking pretty rubbish, but I don't think I'll get that done today. This little guy, Rafa, has a possible play date later, which I'll tell you more about later. But for right now, we've got to get to the garden. It's a little bit cold today, but at least that's going to be a nice transition for the seedlings. We've had a warm couple of days and that has kind of meant that everything has gone boom. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out. It has been a little bit complicated to try and work out where everything is going to be best positioned in order to get the sunlight it requires while also making use of the limited space I have. And the plus side is that my rental inspection is now done, which means I can make a mess and it's all good. I'm also going to prune back these trees, including the lemon tree, because that is affecting some of the morning sun that this pocket area of the veggie garden can get. So let's do that first. Let's prune these trees first and then we can get in there and get the potatoes and clean up that part of the garden bed as much as possible. It is very weed infested, but I've given up trying to tame these weeds. It's just not worth it. And then let's start getting all these amazing seedlings that have really popped in the last few days. And let's get them into the ground and get spring underway and get ready for future harvests. I'm really excited about it. This tree, I have no idea what it is, but it blooms beautifully in late spring. But it kind of supports this weird plant in here that has all these like funny bean seeds and they drop in here. And I'm wondering if that's the cause of all these weeds or if it's just life. But I'm also going to prune off this branch of the lemon tree, which seems such a shame because look at that. That is incredible. Oh, we've been invaded. The reason I'm going to prune that off is because number one, it creates a huge amount of morning shade in this area, which you wouldn't know today because it's really overcast. But also, like, I've got lemons like preserved and coming out the wazoo, so I don't really need any more lemons. I think the next time I will attempt to preserve lemons will be when my freeze dryer arrives because there's no more space in the freezer and I don't want to preserve any more lemon juice in the freezer, and I'm kind of at capacity with my dehydrated lemons in terms of what I'll actually use. So when a freeze dryer arrives, then I think it will be of more value to preserve the rinds, although I might steal this one before the bush rat comes. Anyway, and I'm gonna just tidy up the trees a little bit, although this lemon tree is just doing a great job. Just like my little guard dog over here. What's he guarding us from? Oh, look at this. It's a cockatoo. It's a cockatoo, Raffy. I guess Puppy Patrol just answered the question of who's stealing all the lemons. Honestly, this is what it's like walking him. He grabs big sticks and drags them around the neighborhood. But I'll just show you these arches that I got. I thought for some reason I bought the same ones, but I did not. So I've got a little metal round arch first, which he stole my string, rude, which I'm going to put the string up so the beans can climb up. And then I've got this one, which is an exact replica of the one I already had and then didn't use at my house in Sydney that's on a rockery, and no. And I gave it to my friend Rachel, and she's now using it in her garden. So I basically had it, gave it away, bought another one. Very logical, just like this game. Cheeky little chops. Did I show you this the other day? I used the compost that was in the compost bin. It wasn't entirely composted, but I was sick of waiting for it, and it was too heavy to turn, so I just chucked it in the new garden bed, and then put a layer of store-bought compost on top, and it was so full of worms, and it was full of my camera case. So I accused a certain puppy of stealing and eating my camera cover. I stand corrected. My apologies, good sir. Please accept this stick as a gift for my mistake. The sun has come out and it has warmed right up. So I got changed. This is pruned. We got rid of all the sticks and stuff, and now it's time to do my first ever potato harvest. Let's see what happens. I know there was one green one in there because it popped up the other day, and I know that green potatoes aren't really the best to eat. Apparently it is a sign of chlorophyll still in it, and it can be a sign of a toxin buildup in potatoes. Although I have read some studies where it says that that's actually fallacy and you can eat green potatoes. It's just what happens to them when they're exposed to the light. But they're talking about like mildly green potatoes, but this is a pretty green. But I think I'm going to err on the side of caution and get rid of any green potatoes because I've got enough health problems and I don't need any more. So let's do this. Look at this. This is so cool. I wonder if these are little potatoes that never got their chance at life, just hopping up on the end of the root that the dog is now killing. But the trouble is this area is so bashed up and I'm so over it, and it's time for a makeover. What we have done together, this soil was so unhealthy when we moved in, and look at these beautiful worms. Oh, look at this guy. He's like basically a snake. So cool. Good boy! Yes, Rabbit fine potato! Good boy, darling, yes! And it has begun. Don't hurt the wormies though, don't hurt the wormies! You guys, I am so stoked with how many potatoes we just got out of this garden bed. Honestly, I didn't expect any because Rafa had been in there digging up and we'd had so many flood level rains, and I haven't been watering this area much because I'd kind of given up on it. But the soil's actually beautiful and moist and so full of worms. I was so excited. But that also made me not want to dig super deep. But check out our haul. This is amazing. I'm so excited. There are some green ones in there, that's for sure. But they only look mildly green. We'll probably cut the green off. But this is so exciting. I've never grown potatoes before. But seriously, look at this soil. It is so lush. It's done such a turnaround, and there's just so many worms. Come here, wormy. And there are a couple of really massive worms. I did find one curl grub in there, and I wondered if they had eaten the some of the potatoes. But there were so many little, like, really teeny tiny potatoes. Like, come here, teeny tiny potato, like this one. And I can't possibly have got them all. There's no way. I'd be surprised if I even got all the big ones. And so I definitely think some tomatoes. So I definitely think potatoes are probably going to pop up there in the future, which is a bit exciting. Good boy, good settle. I mean, this one does look a bit squishy here, but we'll work it out, won't we, Ruffy? This is very exciting. I just looked up, and I don't know if you guys can see this. There is a massive storm coming. Oh, here she comes. We might just try and get the lettuce seedlings in, maybe quickly, and hide the metal garden arches, because the wind has started and you can feel that shift. She's coming. The storm's literally about to arrive. I can already feel speckles of rain. The dog is asleep on the newly planted zucchini seedlings, so I think it's probably time for us to go inside. I got some of the lettuce seedlings in the ground, so mostly the loose leaf, it cannot be said, the loose leaf lettuce and the little gem lettuce. I did pop in a couple of the iceberg lettuce down the bottom here. That's the lettuce that was $12 a head recently and has come back down to $1.70. So we need to have our own, just in case La Nina round 3 is as bad as round 2. So I'm going to let the sky water these guys in, and I'm going to take my tired puppy inside. But thank you so much for hanging out with us. I hope the wind wasn't too bad, and we'll see you in the next one.